Hi guys, welcome to our week 9 meeting. So this one will be for the review for the second test. Now guys, if you're doing the meeting live with me or if you're watching this recorded session, go to Canvas and then download the review I just uploaded today. So we're gonna go over this review in this meeting, okay? All right, so let me see who is here. Delapo is here, Magali, Masha, Rose. All right, so let's get started. Screen sharing. All right, so first question. The following table shows the willingness to pay for a good for the only for consumer in a market. Now remember, guys, willingness to pay, that's how much maximum you're willing to pay for the good. So for the first consumer, consumer A here, is willing to pay $25, and then consumer B willing to pay a maximum 40, consumer C maximum 15, and then consumer D maximum 30. So the question is, if the price is $20, how many good will be demanded? Now at $20, consumer A wouldn't buy it. Well, I'm sorry, consumer A will buy it. I'm sorry. So if you're willing to pay, it's more than the price of the good, you will buy the good. So consumer A will buy it. And then for consumer B, he's willing to pay 40. So he will also buy it. And then consumer C wouldn't buy this because he's willing to pay 15 and then price is 20, so that's too high. And then consumer D, who will also buy this good because he's willing to pay 30 and the price only 20. So for this question over here, that there will be total 3 consumers who will be buying this good. And then how much is the total consumer surplus? So to find the total consumer surplus, use your each consumer's WTP minus the price they paid. That's your consumer surplus. So from consumer A, we have 25 minus 20. That's a $5. And then consumer B is 25, but it's 40 now. So 40 minus 20, that's a $20 surplus. And then consumer D is 30 minus 20, that's a $10 surplus. So your total consumer surplus, add everything together, that will be $35. That's your total consumer surplus. All right, hi Laura. All right, so this is the first part. Now let's look at the next question. So this is a supply curve. So we're gonna do a producer surplus. If the market equilibrium price at 25, how much is our total producer surplus? Now, guys, I think this question is on your test, so it depends on your luck. You might see this on the test too. Rose, let me see your question. They don't give us the price of the good. Rose, you can, if the question shows you the graph, let me see have a question like that. So if a question shows you the graph, the price will be at the equilibrium. So that's the price you're gonna use. Okay. All right. So let's look at this question here. All right. Now when the price is $25, how much is our total producer surplus? So guys, to find producer surplus, what you want to do, draw a line. So let's draw the price line at $25. Now your producer surplus will be below your price line and then above the supply curve. So the shaded area is our producer surplus. Now, if you notice this supply curve is a little different than what you used to. This is like a little staircase. So for now normally for the little triangle, you do your base times height over 2. But for the staircase, all you're gonna do is just find a vertical distance and then add it all together. That's your producer surplus. And then think as each step as a single producer. So there's one producer A here, producer B, producer C, producer D, and lastly producer E. So 5 producers at different cost. So the supply curve is the representation of all the cost to producers. Now, so when the price is $25, producer A will sell, producer B will sell, producer C wouldn't sell. So for producer C, his cost is 30. Price at 25, he's not making any profit, therefore he won't sell. So for our total producer surplus, just find the difference. So first for producer A, so producer surplus from the first producer, producer A, PSA, 25 minus 5, that's a 20. And then the producer surplus from B, that's going to be 25 minus 15, that's going to be 10. So total together, your total producer surplus will be 30. Okay. All right. And then for the second part, if your price is at $35, $35 that will be over here. So your new producer surplus is everything below the line. All right, so at $35, 3 producers will sell. So producer A, producer B, producer C. So let's do producer A. Now the price is 35. His cost is 5, so profit is 30. And then producer B, his price is still 35. His cost is 15. So this is 20. And then for producer C, $35. And then minus his cost is 30. So this is $5. So add everything all together for 30 or 55. So 55 is the producer surplus when price is at 35. Okay, so that's how to do that's how to do number 4. Number 5. If the market price increased from 25 to 35, how much is the increase in producer surplus to producers supplying the good at the initial $25? So if you look at this graph over here, we have A, B, C, 3 producers producing the good at $35, but only A and B, they were still producing the good when the price was at $25. So the question is asking for this A and B producers, how much did their producer surplus increase? So for producer A, before it was 20, but now it's 30. So for producer A, he gained an extra $10. And then for producer B, before it was 10, but now it's 20, so he also get $10. So for these 2 producers, together they gain total of $20 of producer surplus. Okay. All right. Any question, anybody? All right. If no questions, let's continue to the next question. All right, so more than likely you'll see a question like this on the test. So you're gonna have a supply demand curve and ask you what's the consumer surplus, producer surplus, total surplus. This is the easy part. Okay, so first thing you do, we're gonna label it on the graph. So draw the price line. So price is $25. Then consumer surplus is the triangle between your price line and the demand curve. So that's your consumer surplus. And then producer surplus is the triangle below. And then total surplus is consumers plus producers. Okay. So let's first find out our consumer surplus. So consumer surplus, the vertical distance, we go from 25 to 50. So that's a 25. Horizontal distance, go from 0 to 25. That's also 25. Divided by 2. Let's see how much is this. So 25 times 25 divided by 2, I have 312.5. And then for producer surplus, it's still the vertical distance, which is 25, times 25 divided by 2. That's also 312.5. And then total surplus is your, so CS, 312.5 plus PS, 312.5. Oh. So total should be 625. Okay, so that's how to find a consumer, producer, and a total surplus. Oh, guys, for those who join in late, I just upload the review package on this review on your Canvas. So go to your week 9 module, and it's in the week 9 module. So you can download that, and then we can go over this together. Okay. All right, and then number 7 is a little more difficult. So number 7 says, if government impose a price floor of $35 for this market, how much is consumer surplus? So if we do a price floor at $35, that will be, this is the new price floor at $35, and then your new consumer surplus will be just the triangle here. So for our new consumer surplus will be the vertical distance from 35 to 50, that's a 15, times the horizontal distance. Now the quantity only goes up to this point, so don't go to 25 anymore. So times 15 and divided by 2. Okay, so 15 times 15 divided by 2. Let me see what the answer is. 15 times 15 divided by 2. 112.5. All right, and next, if government impose a price ceiling of $20, so there will be a price ceiling of $20. How much is the consumer, producer, and total surplus? You know what? I think I need a clean table. Let me see if I can copy this. All right, perfect. Okay, so if government impose a price here, need more room to work with. Happened. All right, let me just work over here then. So if government impose a price ceiling of $20, so this is the price ceiling. So this will be the new price for the market. Now at this price, your consumer let's do producer first. So for producer surplus is below the price line, above the supply curve. So this triangle is your producer surplus. Now for consumer surplus is below the demand curve, above the price line. But be careful, we're not going all the way to, to 35 or 25 quantity. For your consumer surplus, we're going to stop at quantity of 20. So this area is your consumer surplus. And the reason why that is even though for $20, our quantity demanded is going to be 30 unit, but the quantity supplied, that's only 20 unit. So consumer surplus only happens when consumer actually buy the good. But if you want to buy the good and the good is sold out, there's nowhere for you to buy the good anymore. So you don't have any consumer surplus if you cannot buy the good. So for this price ceiling, then our consumer surplus only happens for those consumers who are actually able to buy the good. So which is only up to the quantity of 20. We're not going anything further than 20. So let's find our producer surplus. Base times height, so this will be 20 times 20 divided by 2. That's 200. And then for consumer surplus, now this looks a little different than before. Now this is I don't know if you can remember this from middle school or high school. For this one, I'm going to use the longer base plus the shorter base divided by 2 times height. Okay, so for longer base is from 20 to 50, that's a 30. The shorter base is from 20 to 30. So this is short base over here. That's a 10 divided by 2 and times the height, which is the horizontal distance, 20. So this would be what? 30 plus 10 is 40. 40 divided by 2, 20 times 20. That's 400. Okay, so that's your consumer surplus. And then lastly, your total surplus is just your consumer plus producers. So it will be 200 plus 400. So total surplus is 600. All right, everybody got it? Yep. Okay, so that's it for chapter 7. And then next, let's look at chapter 8. So chapter 8 is on the tax, so taxations. Oh, why does it do that? Never mind. All right. So we'll have this graph again, and then it's asking what is, okay, so first part is pretty easy. What is the equilibrium price and quantity? Again, looking for the intersection. So this intersection is our equilibrium price, which is $5, and our equilibrium quantity, which is 100. Okay. All right, and the next part, how much is consumer surplus at this market at equilibrium? So again, the consumer surplus is the triangle on top. So this is your consumer surplus. This is your producer surplus, and this big triangle, that's your total surplus. So for consumer surplus, it's going to be the vertical distance from 5 to 10, that's a 5. And then times horizontal distance to 100 divided by 2. This would be 250. And then for the producer surplus, the vertical distance is 5, horizontal distance 100 divided by 2. This is also 250. And last one, your total surplus. So 250 plus 250, that will be 500. That is your total surplus. All right, let me see what else it's asking for. Okay, so suppose government places a $4 tax per unit on this good. What will be the price consumer pays and price producer pays? Let me again copy this graph here. And guys, just like before, if you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section, and then I will answer them once I see it, okay? All right, so if the tax is $4, that'd be the difference between your demand supply curve. So this difference is $4. So 7 minus 3, that's 4. So at 7, that's the new price for buyer. At a 3, that's a new price for seller. All right, and then your consumer surplus will be this triangle on top. Producer surplus will be this triangle on the bottom. Your tax revenue is a rectangle in the middle. And then total surplus, so TS is your CS plus PS plus tax. Now, this little triangle over here, this is called a dead weight loss. All right, so let's find each one. So for consumer surplus, that's going to be the vertical distance from 10 to 7. That's a 3. So 3 times 60 divided by 2. That's going to be a 90. And then for producer surplus, that's going to be this part over here, the little triangle below. So vertical distance 3 times 60 divided by 2. That's also a 90. And then your tax revenue, it's going to be this rectangle in the middle. So now remember this rectangle, so don't do divided by 2 anymore. So just base times height. So the vertical distance is 4, horizontal distance 60. So 4 times 60 is going to be 240. And then your total surplus is everything all together. So 90 plus 90 plus 240. This should be 420, I believe. Yeah, okay. So total surplus 420. And last one, your dead weight loss. So dead weight loss is a small triangle. So vertical distance is 4. Horizontal distance, you go from 60 to 100, that's a 40. Divided by 2, that's going to be 80. Okay, that's your dead weight loss. All right, so that's how you do this problem here. Now, does anybody have any question how to find the consumer producer surplus, price for buyer, price for sellers, and also dead weight loss? All right, so if no questions, let's go to the next one. So next one is chapter 9. So first question, what is the equilibrium price of CD before trade? So before trade, look at your supply demand. And just like before, this intersection is our equilibrium. And then the price for it will be at $12. And then the quantity for it will be at 50. So before trade, price of 12, quantity of 50. And then what is the price of CD after trade is allowed? Now, for this economy, the world price is $15, domestic price $12. Once you trade, your domestic price goes away, and then the world price becomes your new domestic price. So the new price after trade will be at $15. And then what is the quantity of CD exported after trade is allowed? So at $15, this is $15. Our quantity supplied is 65. Quantity demanded is 35, and then this difference, this is our export. So for export, just use your 65 minus 35, and this is what 30. That's your export. Okay. And then what is the amount of consumer surplus after trade? So consumer surplus after trade, that's this triangle over here. So here, let me do this. So consumer surplus with trade, base times height. So that's from 22 to 15. That's 17. No, not 17. That's a 7, right? So 7 times 35 divided by 2. All right, let's see what this is. So 7 times 35 divided by 2. I have 122.5. And then the producer surplus with trade. Hey, come back. There will be this big triangle right here. That's your producer surplus with trade. So you're gonna be 15 times 65 divided by 2. So 15 times 65 divided by 2. That's 487.5. And then your total surplus with trade. So it's going to be the 122.5 plus 487.5. 122.5. Total should be 610. All right. Now, that's how I find consumer, producer, and total surplus. And then let me show you one more thing you might need to know, that this little triangle over here, this triangle just highlighted black. This triangle is called the gains from trade. Okay, so because for this triangle, we didn't have it before. So before trade, the top triangle was our consumer surplus. The bottom triangle is our producer surplus. But with trade, we gain this extra triangle over here. So this triangle is called gain from trade. And that's why trade is good. And then you can also find an area for this gain from trade. So for gain from trade, let me do over here. So gain from trade. So the base is from 35 to 65. So 30. And it looks like the height is from 15 to 12. That's a 3 divided by 2. So that's a 45. That's your gain from trade. All right, everybody got it? Okay, so let's, oh, by the way, this 45 is the answer for the last part. Okay, so part K, that's the answer for it. All right, and then let's look at next one. So use the graph, assume government imposed $1 tariff on hammers. Answer the following question given this information. So the world price is $5 with $1 tariff. The new price should be $6. So what is domestic price and quantity demanded for hammer after tariff is imposed? So our domestic demand with $6 is at 84. So the quantity demanded is 84, and then our price is at $6. And then what is the number of hammers imported before trade? So before trade, this was our quantity demanded. This is our quantity supplied. So our consumer buys 96. business supply only 30, then the quantity imported before trade, before tariff, this would be 66 unit, and then the quantity imported after tariff, so this is our new quantity demanded, this is a new quantity supplied, so 84 minus 40, that will be a 44 unit. All right. And then next, what will be the amount of consumer surplus before tariff? So before tariff, this is your consumer surplus. So all this big triangle right here. So for our consumer surplus before tariff, again, base times height over 2. So there will be 8 times 96 divided by 2. Let's see what this is. So 8 times 96 divided by 2, I have 384. All right, and then next, the consumer surplus after trade. Now, consumer surplus after trade, it wouldn't be the big triangle anymore. It will be at the price line, and then everything above the price line. So let me see, can I do this? So this triangle. So everything above the $6, that is your new consumer surplus. Okay, so for the new consumer surplus, the vertical distance is going to be 7 times 84 divided by 2. So 7 times 84 divided by 2, I have a 294. All right, everybody got it? And then next part, for producers, same deal. So for producers, this was the producer surplus, so this small triangle. So let me use a new graph. This is looking bad now. Copy. All right, so the with no before tariff, this triangle is our producer surplus. So producer surplus is from 2 to 5. That's a 3 times 30, and then divided by 2. That's a 45. And then the producer surplus with tariff, you're gonna gain this extra area over here. That's your producer surplus with tariff. So it's gonna be 2 to 6. That'll be a 4, and then 4 times 40 divided by 2. That should give you a 60 or 80, right? 80? I think so. Yeah, 80. All right. Now what's next? The total surplus is asking for total surplus. No, it's not. So what is the government revenue? Government revenue will be this little rectangle over here. This is the $1 tariff times how much import we have. And we said the tariff is $1 each. And then we're going to import 44 unit. So the tax revenue is just $44. And then for the deadweight loss is the small triangle here plus the small triangle here. That's your deadweight loss. And then let's see how much that is. So deadweight loss. So for the triangle on the left, the vertical distance is 1, horizontal distance is 10 divided by 2. And then for the triangle on the right, vertical distance is 1, horizontal distance is 12 divided by 2. So this will be 5, this will be 6, and then 11 is our deadweight loss. All right, everybody got it? Yeah. Okay, let's look at chapter 23. Now for chapter 23, it's best if we use Excel to work on this problem because there's a lot of calculation to do. So guys, if you want, open up your spreadsheet and let's do it together. Okay. Let me make this a little smaller. All right, let me see if I can copy this into a spreadsheet. If I can, that'd be great. All right, great. This is better then. Looks like this is cut off. What does it say? Huh. Okay, I guess I don't need this anymore because it's cut off. Better. So this is the price of chocolate. This is the price of All right, so first you need to look for the nominal GDP and real GDP. Let's do it for each year, okay? So for each year, I do need an extra column here. So this is the year. Good. Chocolate. Price of which? Right. All right, this looks better now. All right, and then next, let's do our nominal GDP for each year. So nominal GDP. Now remember, for nominal GDP, we're going to take our each year price times each year quantity and add up all together. So for 2008, $4 for each chocolate, 100 for number of chocolate plus 50 for watch times and watches. And for the next one, same thing. Now remember the shortcut. If you click on it, right bottom corner, drag it down. That's your real GDP, your nominal GDP. And then for real GDP, we need the base year, and then when the base year is. Did you say what year is base year? So let's see. Here we go. The base year is 2009. So what that means we're going to take our every year quantity times our 2009 prices because it's our base year. So for 2008, you're going to take your 2009 quantity or price times your 2008 quantity, and then plus again 2009 price times 2008 quantity. That's going to be 1,000. And then same thing for this one. Now we can also drag it down, but before we do that, we need to fix our cell at 5 and 50. So let's put a dollar sign for it. So dollar sign in front of B, dollar sign in front of 3, and then dollar sign in front of B, dollar sign in front of 3. What that does, they'll fix the cell there. So when every other cell move, our price wouldn't move. Okay, so price is fixed. And then drag it down. So that's your real GDP. Okay, and then next one, your GDP deflator. Remember the formula for it is your nominal GDP divided by real GDP times 100. That's your GDP deflator. And then same formula, so drag it down for everybody. That's your GDP deflator. And last one for inflation. Inflation is always the deflator for this year minus deflator for last year divided by deflator for last year. So let's do last year first. So 2011. So 2011 minus 2010, and then divided by 2010. That's your GDP. That's your inflation. Let me for my cell percentage. And then let's drag it up 3 years above. So that's the inflation for each year. All right. Everybody got it? So this is how you do this problem. You know what, guys? Once we finish, I will post this Excel spreadsheet also on Canvas. So if you guys need to see how I do the formulas, you can look at the sheet and then see how the formulas looks like. Okay. Now let's do the next question. Let's do the next one, the last one. All right. So this is chapter 24. So there's a price index. Table below shows the price of chips and salsa for the months of October, November, and December. Assume the typical consumer buys 8 bags of chips. So it's important information here. 8 bags of chips and 4 jars of salsa each month. And October is our base year. So calculate inflation rate for November and calculate inflation rate for December. So for this problem, the first thing I'm going to do is to find out what is our CPI, and then I can find inflation. So let me open a new sheet on Excel. Let me copy this over. Hopefully this copy is pretty good. All right, here we go. So first, let's find CPI for each month. Well, first thing first, let's do the basket values. Remember, for CPI, first step to do is to find the basket value, and then find CPI, and last step, find inflation. So for our basket value, let's get the quantities now. So the quantity for chips, there are 8 chips. The quantity for money, this is supposed to be a number 8. And we need 4 salsa. But give me a number. I don't need money. I need a number. Okay. So first, let's do the basket value. So for basket value, is the price of each item times the quantity of each item. So price 250 times 8 plus 250 times 4. I'm going to drag it down, but remember this 4 and 8 doesn't move. So I'm going to put a $sign for it. So $sign in front of B, $sign in front of 5, and then $sign in front of C, $sign in front of 5. And then now I can drag it down. That's your basket value. And the next one for CPI. CPI is a basket value for current year divided by basket value for base year and times 100. So our base is October. That's our base. So for CPI, it's going to be the basket value in October divided by basket value in October times 100. That's 100. Now remember, the CPI for the base year is always 100. And I'm going to do the same thing, drag it down. But before I do that, we're going to fix our base here. So make sure put $sign at the below B2. Okay, not the above one, but the below one. And then let's drag it down. So the CPI is for November, December, and last one for inflation. Now, same formula. So CPI for this year minus CPI for last year, or last month, divided by CPI for last month. And when I finish, make sure this is a percentage. So for my cell and then percentage. So 8.16%. And then once you finish, drag it down, I'll drag it up. So the month before was a -2%. Okay. All right, everybody got it? Yeah. Okay. So if everybody got it, then let's do the last problem. Very similar. All right. So very similar information. Let me open new spreadsheet. Let me copy this. All right, that's good. All right, so use 2010's base year, find CPI and the inflation for each year. Okay, so let's first use 2010 as base year. So finding inflation and CPI. So let's first do the basket value. So basket value in 2010. Now, since 2010 is base year, we're going to use our quantity in 2010 because this is the same quantity for every single year. So 50 times 100 plus 100 times 6,000. And then for 2011, same deal, but we're going to use our 2010 quantity. So remember, for your real GDPs is the price never change. For basket value and CPI is the quantity never change. So this will be 50 times 120 plus 100 times 12. And next one is CPI. 6,000 divided by 6,000 times 100. And then 7,200 divided by 6,000 our base year. And 100. And inflation. Be 120 minus 100 and divided by 100. Inflation, again, this should be a percentage. So for my cell, percentage. So it's 20%. Okay, so that's your 2010 base year. And then next, let's do the same thing for 2011 as base year. So let's do 2011 as our base year. All right, so basket value. Now we're gonna use our 2011 quantity now. So that will be a 60 times 100 plus 120 times 10. And then over here equals to 60 times 120 plus 120 times 12. All right, and then CPI is equal to your basket value divided by base year times 100. And CPI is basket value divided by base year, which is same year, times 100. That's always 100. And inflation. Well, reverse that. It's the new minus old divided by old, which is same 20%. All right. Everybody got it? So it doesn't matter which is base year. Now your basket value and CPI will be different, but the end result, the inflation will be all the same. Doesn't matter which is base year. Okay. Does anybody have any questions right now? No questions? All right, so guys, if no questions, let me wish you good luck on your second test. And then again, if you have any questions, send me email. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. But good luck, and I will see you guys same time next week. Okay. Let me see if anything else. All right. Okay, guys. See you later. Bye bye. Oh yeah, one more thing before we go. Remember to when you chat live you get 3 points, and then if you watch recorded, you get 2 points. Okay, so for those guys who's here right now, say Veronica, Kong, Van, you guys will be all getting 3 points extra on the test. Okay, and then guys, again, if you cannot watch a recorded session, and then make sure put a comment in the comment box, and you get 2 points extra for the test. All right, so let's end it here, and then again, guys, good luck. See you later.